There we go. Hola, Danster. Danster, how the fuck are you, man? Hope you're doing good. I smelled that you were stepping in the first time. What's new in Dan's world? Ma. But ma. Don't but mommy. Everybody, did we have a good Easter? Get the family together, eat some mashed potatoes. Brought a truck home from storage. Cool. Is it one of your bump sides? You've seen it on my channel. My friend Dusty, he's got a 79 F350. Got a 460 and a ZF5 speed in it. And dent side. I only have one. Sweet. And that 5-speed 460 is a brute of a truck. Sits just right. It's got the big ass axles on it, and it's green. And it is a Explorer package. So it's got the Explorer stripes across the hood and then down the truck. And it's in okay shape. But I call that truck 77. Okay. That's a great year. That's a great year. New belt on the push mower. Hopefully that push mower's got some the Terminator. Hello, Terminator. It's very possible. It's very possible. But you might see someone like me, but often often imitated, never duplicated. I am the Dougster. The one, the only. Too bad the teeth are stripped out on the drive wheels. That can be fixed though, right? One of my favorite push mowers we had was an old Snapper Bagger. That thing had a variable speed transmission. The handle, if you squeezed it all the way down, it was full throttle. But as you backed up off of it, you could feather it. But the best one I've used is, have you ever had the pleasure of using a Honda push mower? It's awesome. They're nice. Really nice. Oh, strap the belt. Back on. Oh, yeah. I don't have more problems. We have a relatively newer unit. I think, well, no, we got the tractor new when we got the house. So that means the tractor is now 6 years old. And Dr. G, what the hell's going on, man? But basically, spring maintenance is going to be oil change and grease and inspect and clean. Everything gets good and clean. I completely clean out all the garbage from the deck and everything, blow everything out, lubricate everything. Yep. So, yeah, I probably will have to pull the tractor out here soon. And that's got a, I think it's a Briggs V twin vertical shaft. I did have the hot rod small engine. I had a old Cub Cadet that had the Vanguard Briggs and Stratton V twin on it, and that one is upright like a Harley. And there's small blocks and there's big blocks. Mine was a 16 horse, so it was a small block, but they made a big block version of those, and they were like upwards to 25 horsepower. So if you sink like $5,000 to $7,000 in one of those things, they sound like a Harley, and they rip like 9,000 RPM. I couldn't believe it when I heard one all turned up. Sounds like just amazing. And fans of Dougster, there's two kinds of lawnmower racing around here. There's slick track, which is basically you race inside a warehouse on a smooth, flat floor. And then there is actual banked. But yeah, there's guys that race lawnmowers, and the highly sought after race lawnmowers are rugs, RUGG. So if you've got one of those, they're gold to the right man. It's neat, the tech. They take the lawnmower and you put it right slap to the weeds and take all the suspension out of it. And got to have a handheld throttle. You squeeze it. It's a paddle underneath your wheel. And you have to have a deck. But basically, it's just a shell that looks like a deck. But you have to run a deck to be a lawnmower. Figure 8 lawnmower racing. I'd love a hot rod lawn tractor. Me too. They are a lot of fun. They're a riot. Now there's a raceway in northern Indiana, New Paris Speedway. That's it. It's a asphalt oval, but you can see where they run a figure 8 through it because it's a big bowl. So the infield, you see a big X in the middle of the track, and they actually do run figure 8 races. They also do the spectator races. The last time that I was there, the guy came in this actually really nice 72 fire engine red convertible Eldorado, and he kicked ass and took names in spectator races. and just every time he won, he'd rub the wall with it. And I just cried because it was actually a nice car that he was trashing. Well, not mine. Use a dead man throttle. Yeah, it'll be handheld. Yeah. So you've got a paddle on your steering wheel. You've got a paddle that you squeeze. You've got a foot brake, I believe. But yeah, so if you let go, you're not on the throttle. Oh, right, in the hydroplane boats. Drag boat guys are big in my area, and there's like 3 or 4 teams out of my area, and excuse me, some are retired, and yeah, those guys are crazy. You know, we're doing 200 miles an hour on water. I mean, it's cool, but man, when them boats flip over, good luck. If you sit there and that capsule takes on water before the guys get to you, it will be the end of you. But yeah, those guys got big, hairy, gnarly balls. And the one guy I really admire, there was like 5 guys. Well, 4 of them were big money guys, and the 5th guy was trying to do the best he could with what little money he had. So when the 4 big money guys would update their stuff, or blow up or whatever, he's like, "What are you doing with that?" "Well, I'll buy it." And so now he's getting all of their speed parts at a discount, and he's now being competitive, beating them with their own stuff. I'm like, yeah, why not? He got a plethora of parts. I can make it all work. Yeah, my favorite one is his boat has the blower has an intercooler that's seawater cooled. So it takes in the cold water and runs it through it, and as the column of air for the blower sucks it through, pushes it through. It's like, yeah, cool. Could never do that. I think the blessed thing was like 6 inches tall. Could you imagine? That blower and everything sticking up. That'd be cool, but yeah, 200 in under 4 seconds. Exactly. The G-forces on that's got to be absolutely tremendous. Exactly. There was one guy who died. He was a legend too. John Haas, Haas, and senior, and he raced for years, and he went out racing, and they were just too late. But hey, he went out doing what he loved, so yeah, they're gnarly beasts. One guy here, he actually is a really interesting guy, and he's actually in the Michigan Motorsports Hall of Fame. His name is Tom Earhart, and he's from this area, and I live by, I don't live on, a kind of snooty lake, and he lives lakefront, and he had a dyno in his shop, and yeah, would break in cams and stuff. He'd keep respectful hours with it, but yeah, he would actually do engines, boat engines and stuff. He hit the Michigan Motorsports Hall of Fame by running a sled called Budweiser, and it was sponsored by Budweiser, and it had 3 or 2 marine engines. They were Mercury Marine engines, and he put them on a snowmobile, and he went out on this lake that I live by, and he set a speed record at 150 miles an hour. They used to actually set up speed traps on my 2-ax. What's going on, Jeff Rowe? Yeah, So on our lake is huge in a straight line. So but it's not a very deep lake. So yeah, they would set up across the fat part of the lake, and you could do speed runs and take whatever out there. But I don't know if they do that anymore like they used to. But yeah, Tom Earhart used to go out there. My dad used to run with him, and he was playing with turbos when nobody else understood turbos. He was doing turbo stuff in the 70s. He was taking CB750 road bikes and turbocharging them, and also made his own 1100 or 1000 out of a CB750, and had the compression cranked up so bad that he had to make his own copper head gaskets and had to make two of them for everything to seal up on his hot CB750. And he said those would blow out. He said it got to the point where he would actually have extras. He'd make like 6 at a time because that was how often he was taking the head off. He says, run like a raped ape till it blows a head gasket. So yeah, the guy is amazing. I remember him talking about the 4.7 swap long before I ever heard of it from anyone else. Yeah, when he talked about it, it was kind of just, wow, I don't understand. Now I understand a lot more, but yeah, he was talking about the 4.7 swap long before anyone else had. Justin, what's going on? Oh, we got Lewis in here too. Justin and Lewis. Nice. Welcome, guys. So I wanted to talk about spark plug optimization. And we ended up putting a set of spark plugs in Lady Dougster's Camry, 07 Camry, and they were just whipped. Well, we started to get a misfire on cylinder 1, the code thing. It only was on for like an hour or so, and it went out. So Lady Dougster checked the code. It was a bad number 1 spark plug. And so we ended up throwing a set of spark plugs in. It was so bad, y'all. The ground strap was burned, like missing. It was burned way back. All the spark plugs looked like they were just hotter than hot because the arc was so long in it. The number 1 spark plug, the porcelain, actually had a broken spot. Denso or N. What you're running for spark plugs? In Yodas, yes. We're settling for Denzos, and we did get NGKs in the long run. So yeah, exactly. You want to put NGKs. I like NGKs anyway because NGKs are very forgiving. You can flood out an NGK and it'll come back. If you like, I got a champion in my hands. If this thing gets flooded, replace it. You're excited to learn some carburetor work. Exactly. Well, Justin, before we actually start putting your car on the road, we do have to go through your Edelbrock, and that'll be really easy. A Edelbrock carb is simple, but then again, a dirt bike carburetor is pretty simple too. So yeah, get a manual. Whatever you're working on, get the service manual for it. That's your best friend. So we ended up throwing a set of spark plugs in it, and it was long overdue. Make sure all the gap was at 44 thousandths like it was supposed to be. And then what I ended up doing is a David Vizard trick, and I'm going to show you guys it too. You take your ground strap tip and you radius the corners. So instead of it being squared off, take those corners and round them off. So it's more like radiused, okay? And what that's going to do is help focus your spark down as a center bolt, so all its energy is together. Otherwise, when you've got the points on your ground strap, those 2 points, the spark will spider leg out in two beams, which is not as concentrated as together. So basically, you're focusing your spark. Is it going to make a butt dyno difference? Are you going to feel it in the seat of your pants? No. Is it better? Yes. UP, welcome. Cleaning and straightening the junkyard with his top secret projects. Top secret projects that have all sorts of really cool speed parts, but no one knows what it is. So yeah, just takes a second. I usually use like my little point file, and I'll just buzz them down and feel for a burr. And so while I got these out, I've got a, it's really heavy. Otherwise, I guess I can just show it to you. I've got, there was an auto parts store in Grand Rapids, an antique auto parts store in Grand Rapids called Northwestern Auto Parts. And they went out of business in 21. And I ended up buying the catalog rack, which you can't see. The catalog rack I bought out of there. And I've got in good with these guys. And on side cutting ground strap. My thoughts on side cutting ground strap are, I don't know. I haven't tried it. So I don't have an opinion as of yet. But I'm not against trying. But to be continued. On side cutting, moving it, are you talking, well, some guys like to do the side step, and then other guys will just cut it way back. Yeah. I guess if you want to really, I don't know. I haven't done it, so I have nothing to base it on. So I don't know. The guys, over 8 months, I bought as much parts out of that place as I could. Lifters, gaskets, catalogs. I got catalogs for that. Anyways, I bought so much stuff. They made me care packages, all three guys. One guy who actually owned that, he was given that by the boss. And then the other guys all threw in a little something for me. And the one guy, Gene, gave me 176 Champion spark plugs, all in the same heat range. And they're meant for a GM, but they just happen to be, you can't see it, it's a J12YC, but it's actually meant to be a GM plug. But Gene, being the spark plug guy, he's the spark plug nerd of the group. He's like, it's the middle of the heat range between your cold and your hot in a Champion for Mopar. So he goes, that'll be perfect for you. And yeah, I've got an entire SK toolbox full of them. I'll just pull it up. Okay. Show you the top drawer. All plugs. There you go. All plugs that are not in actual packaging, like the blister packs, are optimized. I took each and every one of these and I optimized them one winter. And it's the whole bottom is full. Of plugs. They were free. That guy also sold me Well, you know, as many times as you're going to be putting champions in a Mopar, I've got like 22 plug changes worth here. So, I mean, yeah. And I'm going to be playing with big block Mopar anyway, and they're big block Mopar plugs, and I'm just happy to be a big block Mopar guy. How about that? I have 30 sets of points for big block Mopar. Ampco, made in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and then I got another brand too. Oh, I got 10 of the good old blue streaks, the good ones with the brass base and everything. Yeah, I got like 10 blue streaks. And they were in Borg Warner packaging, not standard ignition packaging. Borg Warner, who'd have thought? Home of Mercury Marine. Tim Windsor, what's going on? Yeah, I bought as much parts out of that place as I could. They gave me well, I bought a 63 413 street, not an actual car block, not a industrial engine, out of the upstairs of this place. It used to be an apartment building long ago, and the whole place, it was a huge building full of parts, and they had two other buildings full of parts, and they did Babbitt bearing service. I got from that same guy, he sold me a box of Hastings spark plugs, and the porcelain, even though it's kind of faded as time wore on, the porcelains are yellow, and instead of like white. And that was a Hastings thing. Hastings and yellow kind of go hand in hand. As a matter of fact, you can see the yellow on the box on the Hastings sign. Their cartridge oil filters are canary yellow. I have like two of them for like a 57 Chevy. A bumper straightening and re-chroming operation. Yeah. You know, it's amazing when you got the right men and doing the right stuff, how much a bent bumper can come back. However, I've noticed, especially on like 80s Dodge trucks, is if the bumper got twisted, like you grab where the thing hooks around the back of the box on the side, if that gets twisted up or down, you'll never, ever bring it back to where it needs to be. It'll always be off kilter. You know, heat it up and push it back in place. That's right. Well, hey, sometimes they would heat it up, push it back in place at the bumper straightening. Yeah, it's amazing when you see some of the stuff. My friend punched a deer, and we fixed it with a tree. Just pulled it back with a tree, real careful. What sucks even more is if it's put down here and you need it to be here, you've got to take it out to here for it to settle back to here. And that's always disheartening. When you get it to like where it needs to be, you're like, oh, I want to stop, but it's going to relax. So, yeah, really goes against your heart. You're like, oh, no, I don't want. Yeah, that's what you got to do. Nice. Had my dinner. long before now. No, about an hour ago. Perfect. You know, but seriously, when you know what you're doing, it's amazing what you can pull off. Do the right thing at the right time. Yeah. But it'd always be my luck that I would do something like that and just make it even worse, or do it too much, or do it the third time when two was perfect. Yeah, car was 5 years old at the time. I forget what my friend's dad had I think it was a 91 Cummins diesel, 3/4 ton. And the only reason why he bought it was because it had a Cummins. That was the only reason. He wasn't a Dodge guy at all. He liked GMs. And so, yeah, the only reason why he bought the 91s because it had a Cummins in it, because he liked Cummins. And that truck was a hammer. And me and his son are out on the back 40 doing something, and I think he rubbed a tree. Got just was being careful going through because this is Dad's new truck. So yeah, it's like 92, and I think he just rubbed a tree or something that it bent up the tip of the bumper, and all it did was just twist it and made it spring back. Didn't hurt anything else. And his dad hit the ceiling, and we were trying to bend it back and take it beyond where it needed to be and bring it. Oh God, we made it better, but it was never fixed. It's kind of like one of those things. Every time you see it, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. The buyer had painted it gray. Yeah. Guy that I know went to a dealership for crazy deals here, and then win a free car, and he ended up winning, and he had his choice of like 5 cars on the back of the lot, and one of them was a Mitsubishi, like a little Mighty Max. It was a red truck that was used for painting houses, so it was all slopped over with white paint. And he's like, take your pick. He's like, I want the monster truck. He drove that thing for a decade for free, other than maintenance and stuff. Great truck, ran great, drove it home. Does nothing special. Came to buy a 5-year-old Monte Carlo. Yeah, I bet it was a click deal. Oh no, it was a good looking G-Body. Is a good looking car. It is kind of disheartening when you start to really think about it and you go, well, wait a minute. A Monte Carlo, a Grand Prix, a Olds Cutlass, and you go, it's the same damn thing. If I'm going to have a G-Body, which I probably won't, but if I had a G-Body, it will only be the Pontiac 2+2 Aero Coupe. Same thing that the Richard Petty drove, except the street car. But if I, in my dream garage, that car would be built like a Richard Petty stock car of the era. I love that fastback on the G-Body. Mofo, what's going on? Half Pint's a cool little truck. My friend inherited his grandfather's D50. It was black with a red pinstripe, and it was his baby. He always washed it. He took such good care of it. And then my friend inherited it after Gramps passed away. And I think he was just out being a young kid. And I think he twisted her tail. He twisted her tail too much, and he popped a rod through the side of the block. And he still drove that thing home. Yeah, it's a sister to the Mighty Max. Cousin Mike. Yeah, great little trucks. That same guy, later, he got a big old bronze Ford LTD, the big tuna boat. It was, I don't remember if it was a four-door or if it was a coupe. I think it was a coupe. LTD in bronze, big engine, big, like 460. He comes to us with problems, and he's always overreacting. So here he comes with a problem. My car's overheating. Okay, well, the needle's on the high side. Okay, so we look, sure enough, needle's on the high side. Evo, what's happening? And so we pop the hood and open it up, and it's daytime, and that 460 is glowing red hot, and it's still running, and it's like, oh no. We topped off the radiator, it was still running, and we thank God we only live like a mile away from the expressway. We got her out on the expressway and turned the heat on full tilt and just got her cooled down. And we saved it. She never ran the same after that. She was very unhappy with life after that. But we didn't lock it up. Monday nights, I'm here, Evo. Yeah, I couldn't believe that we saved it. I was expecting us to barf it. She was not happy. Oh, Tony's supposed to go live after dark to art. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the heater trick has literally saved my butt many times. It sucks. It really sucks. Yeah, 100-degree day, and let's turn on the heat because my car is overheating. My friend's he had like a Chrysler 300, like a 64 Chrysler 300, and we'd go up to Grand Haven for the Coast Guard Festival, and it's just everyone everywhere. The weather's great, and it's Coast Guard City, USA, so the coastie ships are all there, and it's just a cool place to be. But the traffic, you can walk around faster than you can drive, and everyone's got to cruise the strip. And we're cruising around in the 300, which looks cool. It looks like a Ram Charger's car. It's white with red stripes and lettering, and it's cool. But the whole time we're cruising in it, the heat's on, running full tilt. And yeah, it's already a hot summer night, and you're just getting roasted out of the car, but you look cool. Heat on, windows down. Yeah, still sucks. No heater? Wow. Would be hard to throw one in. But no heater. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you could you could order a Roadrunner with no heater controls, no nothing, no radio. Everything was an option. Never have overheating problems. Interesting. Yeah, there are other times. Uh, Used to plow snow. When I worked at the asphalt company, we plowed snow, and one of the plow trucks was like a '79 Chevy 1 ton, and you had two fan speed selections, off and full tilt, everything. And it got to the point where you just get in the truck and roll down the driver's window. Wait, I mean, because you're just work with the window down. It's better that way. The heat worked great, and the cab had plenty of ventilation holes, and you still were just like walk away from the truck and you see the steam come off. You're so warm. Yeah, the heat worked good in that truck. We have an old school radiator shop close to me, and they do a great job. The problem is what they want for them to do a great job. It's expensive, but if you've got to have it fixed. I saved the radiator out of the RV when I scrapped it, and I saved it because it could work as a heat exchanger for someone. It's too big to fit in a truck, but it's 4 inches thick, and it's huge. It's a big downflow, and the upper tank is like that wide on it. It's impressive. Yeah, I just can't bring myself. And they're like, "Oh yeah, that's like $100 worth of scrap," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I could use it as a heat exchanger if I had a boiler." Oh, I'll bet the shop is cheaper. Yeah, and get just as good work done. And it worked too well. It worked too well. Hey, rebuild. I don't know. That would be the only thing, and it really sucks because now aluminum radiators are unbelievably reasonable. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. You had yes. And I'll take the horsepower loss to turn the fan. That will actually keep your stuff cool. Chrysler Cold. My father had a 1990. Um, it was a D1, no, W150, and it was a 360. It was ordered with a 350, or no, it was ordered with 323 gears. It had a creeper 4-speed, 4-wheel drive. It was W, but they ordered it with a deluxe interior. So it was an LE Royale. So it had power windows, power locks, air conditioning, deluxe stereo, the nice cloth, Dodge truck cloth interior. It was awesome. And it would never, ever come up off of much higher than C on the temp gauge. Sean O'Brien, how's it going? Hey, we got a guy who knows all about Nissans and Datsuns. I actually watched the whole thing on Datsun the other day. Very interesting how far back Datsun Company actually is. So that was actually neat. I thought Nissan had just threw a name out there to call it that instead of disgracing Nissan's name. They thought their product was going to flop in America, and it didn't. That truck of my dad's, that 90 that had the 323 gears, if you put it in if you put in first gear, creeper gear, in low lock, in first gear, and floored it, it wouldn't register 10 miles an hour on the speedo. Full throttle. That's how low geared it was. She was a beast. Oh, and it was a heavy half, so it had heavier springs on a half ton. So she rode pretty stiff for a half ton truck. It was a beast of a truck, and it was Dodge Truck Red. Freshen my drink. Be right back. Earlier, I was showing everyone Sparkplug optimization, Sean, which I'm sure you know about, where you round the corners of the ground strap. So you take those hard corners off, so you focus more spark on the center of the strap. The heater will never blow hot air. A school bus on fire. Good times. Yeah. Yeah, that is good times. There used to be a guy here in Michigan. He was originally from Texas. Everybody called him Tex. And Tex bought school buses. He'd go to all the municipalities, the public school systems, and when they'd sell, he was buying them. And he'd part them out. So you always go to him for school bus parts. And then long ago, a lot of the older Mopar guys in our area was like, yeah, we used to go there and get 440s and all sorts of skookum clutches. And my friend picked up from Tex once a school bus transmission with a 17-inch dual plate clutch, and the back of the block took a special plate that bolted to the back of the block for the larger bell housing of the school bus 4-speed. And they wanted something tougher. They got it. And they made it work in I think it was a 71 GTX. And it was like a 2,100 pound pressure plate, all spring. And my friend said you could press the clutch pedal and use it to shift, but if you're gonna sit in the drive-through at Burger King, wait on your meal with your foot on the clutch, no. So he would dismantle school buses later on, and he'd start loading school buses up with parts. And then he'd have engines and transmissions and whatever that he could load in these buses. And then he'd get loaded buses, and then he'd drive them down to the Mexican border and park them in a lot on the American side of the border. And then he'd fly back home, and then he'd drive down another bus, and then until he delivered them all. And that was how he made his living for many years, was delivering engines and transmissions and bus parts, axles, springs to Mexico. Guys would go there and buy Detroits from them, from all those pusher buses. I never got to actually go in the yard, the bus yard, which that place must have been cool. There used to be a old school bus parked, say maybe 2.5 miles away from my family's farm, and it was probably like a 1950, no, maybe like a 1960 Ford bus, and it had a curved back to it instead of it flat like we're used to. It was all curved, and it was curved on the bottom of it too. So it tapered, and the glass in the back of it was so neat. And the emergency door had a curve to it also, and had a big hinge that it would swing out on. It was so cool. Sat in the same place for as long as I can remember, and then they finally cleaned up the property, and it all went to the scrap gods. Not that I was going to do anything with it anyway. But one of those cool things where finally you're like, oh, going for a drive, yeah. You know, the old area. Okay. Oh, hey, they improved the property. Oh, they scrapped all the, where'd all that go? I didn't know that was there. That kind of stuff. Today you go past that piece of property and it's bare land. They tore down the barn, they tore down the house, they tore down the outbuilding, they scrapped all the cars. Yeah, it's gone. Strange. Same area, there are a bunch of old sugar shacks where they would actually take their sap from the maple trees and make syrup, maple syrup. And my dad and I went on a hike once around the farm property, and we went out to one of the old sugar shacks, not on our property, but way out, a walk from going through our property and onto someone else's and over to where the old sugar shacks are. They're not very big, but some of them still have the pans and everything in them, and it looked like a bricked in fire pit. And then it had pans that set in it, and that's where you cook the maple syrup. And you could see the sugar on the ceiling. It was caked. It's neat. Boy, this sucks when it gets to this point where I don't have anyone in chat, because I kind of run out of things to say, or at least keep it interesting. Well, it's going to be almost an hour. So thank you for coming to my live stream, and come back, same Dougster time, same Dougster channel next week, Monday. Till then, have fun. Bye, guys.